My name is Lisa Haynes. I'm from Cardiff. I'm 42 years old. I have primary progressive MS. I've had it for about 10 years. My first symptom was about 10 years ago. I was diagnosed in 2006. For the first 4 or 5 years, I was having these strange things happening to me. When I was walking, it was as if I couldn't feel where the earth was. It's as if my brain or my feet didn't know where I was walking. It was really, really peculiar. I used to get very tired for no particular reason. I didn't do anything, majorly strenuous to make me feel really tired. I used to have 12 hours sleep. I'd be up for an hour and then I'd feel like I wanted to go back to sleep. That was the fatigue. I also had brain fog, I think they call it. It feels as if you're either drunk or hungover. It feels as if your head is full of cotton wool. You haven't got a clear head. That was another of my symptoms. For years and years, I never went to the doctor about it because it was sort of a gradual thing, on and off. It never sort of stayed with me. So I put it down to different things. Another symptom was a weak bladder. I always wanted to rush for a wee, but I thought that was me not doing my pelvic floor exercises when I had my daughter years ago. I never put all these different weird things together. Then in 2006, and this went on for about 5 years. In 2006, I got pregnant with my son, who is now 4.5. My pregnancy was fine. Everything was fine. I felt fit and healthy, and none of these weird things were with me. I had the baby then in March 2006. Everything was fine until the baby was about 3.5 months. And all these weird things came back to hit me with a vengeance. I was completely shattered. First of all, I put that down to having a new baby. But then all these other strange symptoms sort of came back to me. All these symptoms were heightened. So I thought, well, I've got a new baby now. I've been dealing with all these weird, strange things happening to me for years, so I think I'd better go to the doctor and find out what this is. So, but beforehand, I'd seen on the telly, I think it was Casualty actually, I saw a lady who was saying about the symptoms of her MS, and I thought, this rings a bell. All these symptoms, this is me. This is what's been happening to me all these years. So I had my own suspicions that it was MS. So I eventually went to my doctors and told my doctor I thought I had MS, and he looked at me as if I was mad. So he did the usual sort of neurological tests, and he took my medical history, and I told him everything that had been happening to me for years. He did blood. He sent me off for blood tests and did the usual neurological tests like walking and all that sort of business. And he said, I can't see anything wrong. And I said, well, I know there's something wrong because this has been happening for years and years on and off. And I think it's MS. So he said, well, what makes you think that? But that's another story. So he actually referred me to a neurologist after I insisted that I was referred. I went for a day of tests. I had the MRI scan, the dreaded lumbar puncture, which didn't hurt. Actually, it didn't hurt. It was probably because I was so skinny. I was about 6 stone at the time. So 6 weeks later, I had the diagnosis from my neurologist, and he said, you were right, your suspicions were right. It is highly likely there is MS. I asked what type of MS I had, and he wouldn't tell me. He said he didn't like to label people, but I knew in my own mind that I'd never had, I didn't think it was relapsing remitting because I didn't have acute attacks and then gradually get over it. All these symptoms happened within a distance of like 5-6 years, and they gradually stayed with me. So I knew that it wasn't remitting, relapsing. So I was offered, another symptom was my bladder. So the neurologist said, well, I can give you tablets for your bladder. Fine. He gave me those, and he said, what was the worst symptom I had? And I said it was the fatigue. It was absolutely debilitating. I had no quality of life at that time. I had a very young baby. I was working full time, and I just wanted to die, basically. I just wanted to go to bed, curl up and die because I was so tired. So he tried me on a couple of different tablets. One of them was amantadine. It did absolutely nothing for me. The next one then, he tried me on modafinil, which is a pill for narcolepsy. That made me even worse. So I came off all that. In the meantime, I'd been looking on the internet, and I came across something regarding LDN. I think it was Mary Boyle Bradley's book, Up the Creek with a Paddle, which was about her quest for looking for something for her husband's primary progressive MS. And I sent off for the book on Amazon, read the book, and then I think I got in touch with Linda, saying, how do I get a prescription for this amazing drug? So I had an email off Linda saying, well, if your doctor doesn't prescribe it for you, there's other different routes you can take. And I actually went with eMed from the internet. So I got a prescription off eMed, and then Linda put me in touch with Dixon's Pharmacy to get the prescription filled. Then a couple of weeks later, then I got the LDN. I went on the LDN, and from the first morning after taking the LDN in the night, the next morning, my head was clear. It was like I got my brain back. I could actually think clear for the first time in years. And I thought, wow, there's something to this. Within a couple of weeks, my fatigue had gone. It hadn't gone. It was a lot better. I did start getting a quality of life back. Before that, I wouldn't make plans to go out with any of my friends or family. I always had an excuse not to. But now I started going out more. I had more energy. It was like having my life back. My legs were not so heavy. I felt energized for the first time in a long time. So, well, what can I say? I've been on LDN now for 2 years. The only time it doesn't work for me is if I've got an infection in my body. One time I had an ear infection, and the LDN did nothing for me. So I felt like complete rubbish again. But when that infection cleared up, then I was okay again. The other time I was it didn't work for me was when I was really stressed about something. I felt like rubbish again. So apart from that, the LDN, if I haven't got an infection in my body, if I'm not majorly stressed, it keeps me fine. It keeps me okay. I've got more energy. My head is clear. What was I going to say? I'm having an MS moment. It's okay. My head has gone completely blank now. Is that 10 minutes, Linda?
Really good. Thank you very much, Lisa.